5 minutes till. You just announce the bell, when they ring the bell, it's 5 minutes. And then they start the recording 3 minutes beforehand. And then right at the hour. Very nice. Dry ice in there. Oh, you got a little food going.
Thank you, Wylders. It's a crack up. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Long Beach. My name is Linnell Wise, and I'm delighted to welcome you today. UUCLB is a welcoming and inclusive religious community rooted in love, trust, and freedom. Our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to live into our core values with love at the center of all we do and who we are. We welcome all into our beloved community, long time and new members, visitors and guests. Welcome families joining us for Time for All Ages. And those of you who are new or visiting our church this morning for the second or third time, we're so glad you're here. If you are a visitor, we are glad to welcome you. If you are interested in learning more about the church, please stop by the membership table after the service. Now, let's take a moment to greet one another respectfully and warmly. We can stop them.
What?
Let's see if we can stop them.
I know.
Well, we'll figure it out. Oh,
That pumpkin. Everybody is obsessed with the whole thing.
did you make this? Wow. And this cauldron.
It's so amazing.
How do I light it, Chow? How do I light it?
I will light it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Gotta jump on here. Audio settings. Disconnect. There we go. Okay.
Do you want me to get people down? I can get people down. Oh, she has a few more
something.
things.
Yeah. Sorry, but you can sit up here if you'd like.
Briefly, 1 minute.
Thank you, everyone. Welcome to those watching live on Zoom and YouTube. Hello, good morning. We encourage everyone to subscribe to YouTube, where you can watch anytime throughout the week. After the service today, online participants are invited to join our Zoom virtual coffee hour, where you can chat with others in the congregation. For those of us here on site, please join us for refreshments and conversation outside through those doors. If you turn to the back of your order of service, you'll see announcements of activities happening this Sunday and upcoming Sundays. Please now let's welcome these community announcements.
I didn't know I was on so soon. Good morning. My name's Joanne Pon-Rubin. I am a 25-plus member of the UCLB Church, and it seems that it's quickly become fall in the last couple of weeks. And do you know what that means? It means the Fall Boutique and Plant Sale. Yay! So, this annual fundraiser supports the operating budget and celebrates our community. Today, I'd like to tell you 3 things about the Fall Boutique and Plant Sale. First, we have one more week to collect your donations. Your donations are an essential part of the success of the event. So if you need information on that, please visit our table at coffee hours, right outside the door. Second, we have Halloween and Dia de los Muertos items for pre-sale. And it is kind of a teaser for our larger event. See what we have by visiting our table at coffee hour. And finally, but not least, if you are a new member or a new friend, a longtime member or a longtime friend, and you have 30 to 45 minutes to volunteer in November, you can find out how to support the Fall Boutique and Plant Sale by visiting our table at coffee hour. So, in summary, if you want to know about donations, you want pre-sale items, and you want to volunteer in November, you can get all those things answered by visiting our table at coffee hour. I plan to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who made last night, Trunk or Treat, such a fun and welcoming event. Our children and youth had a fabulously spooky time. Thanks especially to Amy and the Trunk or Treat Planning Committee, Jane, Marty, and Steve. We are wishing all of our congregation a safe and happy Halloween. Next week, we will be celebrating Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, and invite you to bring a photo of a loved one you are remembering to share in our ofrenda, which will be right here. We are thrilled that we will be joined by several guests from the Folklorica Dance Troupe from UUCLB. Not UUCLB, let's try this, CSULB. After the service, we will be dedicating new plaques on the memorial patio. All are welcome to join for the service or refreshments after. And now for our chalice lighting words from the pagan priestess Starhawk. Samhain, more popularly known as Halloween, is the witch's new year, Wicca's most solemn and festive holiday. It is the night when the veil that divides the worlds, when the harvest is gathered and the fields lie fallow, the gates of life and death are opened, and to the living is revealed the mystery that every ending is but a new beginning. Spirits dance beneath the moon's pale light. Shadows play, reveling the night. Blessings of connection, of memories old and new. May Samhain night bring insights true. So mote it be, so mote it be.
Hello! There I am! Good morning! Today, for our chalice lighting, we're all gonna sing my favorite song. And the choir knows this song already, and it's called The Ghost of John. So I'm gonna teach it to you right now, and we'll all sing it together, and then we'll try it in a round and all that good stuff. So it starts like this. Have you seen the ghost of John? Have you seen the ghost of John? And you're gonna look, okay? So you got a little hand motions right there. You're gonna look. Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the skin all gone. And your skin's gonna fall off of your arms. Try that part. Ready, go. Long white bones with with the skin all gone. Now this next part, you're gonna turn to your neighbor and you're gonna haunt them. Ooh, amazing. And then the last part goes, wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Try that. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Let's try it all from the beginning one time all together, and then we'll sing it for real. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with skin all gone. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Amazing, you're all so scary. Let's stand and let's do this for real. So we'll sing it one time all together, and then this side's gonna go first, and then the middle section's gonna start. Alicia's gonna lead you, and then this side's gonna go last, and David's gonna lead you, so we'll sing in a round. All right, here we go. Don't forget to haunt your neighbor. 1, 2, ready, go. Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the skin all gone. Ooh, wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the skin all gone. Ooh, wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Have you seen the ghost of John? Long white bones with the skin all gone. Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Wouldn't it be chilly with no skin on? Yay!
To come to trunk or treat last night. All right. Well, let us tell you it was a good time. And we have the remnants of the decor that have graced our sanctuary today, and it is absolutely amazing. And I just want to give a huge shout out and maybe just have them share a little bit. Brandy and Jonathan helped decorate this beautiful chancel, including this pumpkin, which is extremely special, and Brandy's going to share about it.
Hi. So I've been calling it the Great Pumpkin, and it has been consuming my dining room for about a month and a half. And every chance outside of work, I've been working on it. Yeah, and it's just awesome to be able to have people enjoy it so much, and for somebody to get to take it home. It was raffled last night, and it'll be leaving after service today. I did use orders of service on the paper mache.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. Amazing. So we're going to come into our time of meditation and prayer, and I'd like to share a poem with you. It's by Billy Collins, and it's a spooky season, and Billy Collins often writes about really serious subjects, life and death, but he does it with a touch of humor. And here at UCLB, we're always asking those big questions about life and death in this spooky season. And the veil becoming thinner with the Day of the Dead, and Samhain invites us to bring our imaginations in about the afterlife. So this is Billy Collins' poem, The Afterlife. While you are preparing for sleep, brushing your teeth or rifling through a magazine in bed, the dead of the day are setting out on their journeys. They're moving off in all imaginable directions, each according to their own private belief. And this is the secret that silent Lazarus would not reveal: that everyone is right, as it turns out. You go to the place you always thought you would go, the place you kept lit in an alcove of your head. Some of the dead are being shot into a funnel of flashing colors, into a zone of light. Others are standing naked before a forbidding judge who sits with a golden ladder on one side and a coal chute on the other. Some have already joined the celestial choir and are singing as if they have been doing this forever, while the less inventive find themselves stuck in a big air-conditioned room full of food and chorus girls. This is my favorite one. Some are approaching the apartment of the female god. A woman in her 40s with short, wiry hair and glasses hanging from her neck on a string. The little red glasses. The little red glasses. With one eye, she regards the dead through a hole in the door. There are those who are squeezing into the bodies of animals, eagles and leopards, and one trying on the skin of a monkey like a tight suit and ready to begin another life in a more simple key, while others float off into some benign vagueness, little units of energy headed to the ultimate elsewhere. There are even a few classicists being led to an underworld by a mythical creature with a beard and hooves. He will bring them to the mouth of the furious cave, guarded over by Edith Hamilton and her three-headed dog. It's a good laugh. I didn't get that one, but you did. The rest just lie on their backs in their coffins, wishing they could return so they could learn Italian, or see the pyramids, or play some golf in a light rain. They wish they could wake in the morning just like you and stand at a window examining the beautiful fall trees. And some just smile on forever. The Afterlife by Billy Collins. So great. So now we're going to come into our time of joys and sorrows as a community. And I thought today would be a good day to light some candles. How many of you have started to light candles? Because it started to get really dark early these days, right? Oh, it's my fault. Turning on. It started to get really dark. We've got daylight savings coming up, but it hasn't come yet. It's getting really dark at night. So I've started to bring out those candles. And we brought out the candles. We had a pumpkin carving night on Friday at the school, and we brought out all the candles and carved our pumpkins early. And so I thought it'd be nice to do some candle lighting in here, because there are so many things in our world, things in our lives that we want to bring some more light into the world about. So this is our time of joy and sorrow, where we get to really honor one another as a community, to lift up everything that we are carrying and to share it, that we believe that when we name it, our burdens are lessened because we carry it together. And we also, as we light these candles of joy and sorrow, we acknowledge that our world is in tremendous suffering as we gather this morning. Whether we just look around in our community, whether we are fearful of what is to come, whether we look around and we see that we are worried that our neighbors or maybe our own families will be hungry or without health insurance or without homes. Just driving here in the morning, I always drive, and I drive past people who are sleeping at the bus stop. Maybe you have people in your neighborhood who are sleeping on the streets. And so the concerns are not far. They are right here, and they are in our hearts, and we share them together. So I'm going to invite you to come up, and you can speak briefly to the joy or the sorrow that you are carrying this morning. And if you would like to light a candle, there is a candle for you to light. And if you just would like to silently light a candle, that is there for you as well. You do not need to speak to light. So I invite you, please come forward, share, light a candle.
This is a joy that started off as a sorrow. Tammy's aunt is elderly and has been bedridden for years, but fortunately she gets really great in-home care. Unfortunately, that home was in Altadena. So when the fires came, she had to be evacuated to an assisted living center. Luckily, her home was one of only 2 on her block that survived. And 2 weeks ago, she finally got to move back in again. So we're very grateful for that.
Hi, I'm Alexei Glick, pronouns they, them. My mom turned 75 last month, and after more than a decade of working with the journalism department at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, last night she was honored with a named news desk in her honor. That's my joy.
Gloria, would you mind coming a little bit closer to the candles? Would you like?
Can do it before or after. I'm Gloria, and I just became a new member last week. That's one of my joys, and I have another big joy that I've lived in mobile home park for 10 years, and I bought a little condo in Bluff Park, 2 blocks from the beach, and the park's there, and all the coffee shops around Broadway. And it's just a whole different lifestyle, and starting over at a new chapter. And it closes Monday, and I move in Thursday. And the bad part is all the boxes I've been packing for, I don't know, forever. But we're just about there. So thank you. I wanted to share that with you.
Hi, I'm Darlene, and I wanted to share some joys. I was able to travel to Washington to spend the last 10 days with friends and with my sister, and we got to have a campfire for 2 nights, which when we're talking about all of the fire, it just is a heartwarming thing. And my twin sister and my niece and I got to camp in a yurt for 3 nights and walk on the beach and the sand dunes. So it was a good time.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Jen, and I have a joy to share. In addition to this church, which I think is doing incredible work, I've also found a group in the city of Long Beach that's promoting an ethical rights screening. So if you'd like to hear more, there's a petition that we'd like people to sign, and I'd love for you to come talk to me about it after church. So thank you.
Good morning. I'm Roger. My cousin, professor at the University of Nebraska, 2 weeks ago he forgot to turn his lights on as he walked downstairs and fell all the way down. And so he died this past Friday. So we'll be at the funeral in Lincoln next week, and I think USC is going to be playing the Cornhuskers. So I'll be the only USC for, well, anyway. Well, anyway, so I got to remember not to hold on to the railing. Yeah, how we forget. Thank you. There you go.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Presley, she, her, and I have a sorrow. I'm sure some of you have heard, but food stamps will not be issued starting November 1st. So millions and millions of families, children, disabled folks, elderly folks will not be receiving money for food. So I encourage all of you who can to do whatever you can to help. In addition to that, a lot of disabled people, specifically people on Medicaid who are disabled, are losing caretaking hours. Some have had their caretaking hours cut in half, and for some people that's life-sustaining. So I just want to make sure that we remember those things while we're talking about all the other democracy things, because a lot of times those things get sort of lost in the conversation.
Hi, my name is Roy Hansen. I have a joy relating to the fire situation in both the Topanga area and in Altadena. So to both of those locations, we visited. In the case of Altadena, there's a Mountain View Cemetery in which my grandparents and my great-grandparents are buried there in Altadena. And the fire came up to the fence next to the cemetery, Mountain View Cemetery, did not burn it. So there's still a tombstone there that says Roy V. Hansen, which happens to be my name, except it was my grandfather. So it's really bizarre to visit a tombstone that's got your name on it. Okay, the other part was yesterday we went up to Topanga Canyon where I spent wonderful days, 8, 9, 10 years old in that canyon, going down to the stream with my dog, and we lived up there on a hillside with a lot of other folks that were smoking funny stuff. Anyway, it was quite a hangout in the early 50s. Anyway, the point was that the house that we lived in, my childhood home, if you will, survived just fine right there on, right next to Webb Trail on Bowers Drive. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lissa Moore, and I had an interesting weekend. My former spouse came from Ohio for his 50th high school reunion. Yes, he was a bit younger than I am. So that was interesting. And then, of course, my son came up to visit with him and that. And so we had a good time. You know, they were going. I kept, but also last night I had a really good time at Jane's. I call it a hootenanny. You know, the sing along, and it was a lot of fun. So it was a good weekend.
Sure.
I'm Bonnie Coombs. A few weeks ago, I mentioned about my brother in Wisconsin. I'm going to be able to FaceTime him on his birthday, which is next Sunday. I won't be at church, so I couldn't be the news then. So I'm telling you now, I'm so happy to be able to FaceTime him. We have contacted each other on our birthdays over the years, every year. You know, so I'm glad to be able to do it again.
Hi, I'm Jane, and our neighborhood has been in flux. When we moved in, there was a couple next door to us that were Bud and Molly, and seemed like they were the really old folks, and they're gone now. And now people are moving in, and Jim and I are like Bud and Molly. We're the old folks, but it's kind of just one of our neighbors is now in hospice, and it's just really hard to drive by and think about them. But the other thing is that on one side of us, people are moving in with a under 1-year-old baby. So that is very exciting. And on the other side of us, a new baby girl was born yesterday afternoon. So life goes on, right? So beautiful. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chris Kempf, and I'm from Pastoral Care. And I did just want to relate that we are very happy to have Sam with us today, Sam Warner, and we are hoping that that continues as long as possible here. But we did want to relate that he is experiencing some medical challenges. He's meeting those challenges with some chemotherapy, I believe, right now. And let's keep him in our thoughts and encourage him as we can. Just wanted to mention that.
I'm just going to take some time to come back to our own breath in our bodies for a moment as we listen to the joys and sorrows shared in the community, and also come back to our own, which we are carrying. And whether they have been spoken aloud or we are holding them in our hearts, they are very much present. And so let us take just a few quiet moments to settle into our own bodies and breath. And if you'd like to place a hand on your heart or feel those feet planted a little more firmly in the ground and begin to focus on your breath, we're just going to hold some quiet meditation to let it's like leaves falling from the trees, to allow your thoughts and your feelings and all you are carrying, all that we are holding for not only this community, but for our hurting world, to allow those leaves to quietly settle and to find peace. So let us just sit in the quiet for a few moments together. To close our time of prayer today, I want to invite you to really bring into your mind and heart a person, whether that person is living or has passed, a person who you want to bring into your mind and heart today to really hold in the care and the love of this gathered community. I'm just looking online to see what joys and sorrows we'd like to lift up, and Jane is saying that she just wants to thank everyone for the trunk or treat, and we thank you too, Jane. I'm bringing that person, and maybe that person is yourself today, that you want to bring into the care of this community. And so to close our meditation today, I'm going to invite you to actually think of that person's name. And this is the time when the veil is thin between the living and the dead, and we believe we can bring in the support and the love and the care and the wisdom, the skill, the knowledge, maybe even some of the patterns that we want to be breaking or we want to be transforming in our own lives, that the past and all of those who have gone before us have wisdom to bring into this present moment. And so I'm going to practice inviting someone actually by name. And so to close our meditation, you can speak aloud or just carry silently that person's name. So let us hold some silence. Maybe there's more than one person. Maybe there's a whole group that you want to bring in. Let us name those people now in this space. for all those we name and who remain in our hearts. We offer gratitude for their wisdom, and we invite them in. And as this week goes on and we prepare for the Dia de los Muertos, be thinking of those people. And we will have a beautiful altar next week. We're going to move now into our offering, where we bring our most generous selves into the space and we care for this community, which we gather each week in times of joy and sorrow. And so I invite you to come back into this space as our Wylder Spirits are going to carry on our fun Halloween tunes today. And be as generous as you can. Blessed be.
One, two, three, four. I see the bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. I see earthquakes and lightning. I see bad times today. Don't go around tonight. Well, it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. I hear hurricanes are blowing. I know the end is coming soon. I fear the rivers overflowing. I hear the voice of rage and ruin. Don't go around tonight, but it's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. All right. Hope you have got your things together. Hope you are quite prepared to die. Looks like we're in for nasty weather. One eye is taken for an eye. Well, don't go out tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. Don't go around tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise.
Thank you, Wylder Spirits. You're so awesome. So it's the spooky season, and Long Beach is looking really good these days, isn't it? How many people have got like things going in their yards or in their windows or neighborhoods? I know like Lakewood Village has it going on up there. It is really spooky up there. How many people have been decorating this year and just getting into it? Quite a few. There's still time. You can still get into it. And we've been decorating here a little bit, which you can tell. We're getting into it. So monsters seem to be everywhere this season, and there were quite a few who stopped by last night. Let me tell you, including like a cookie monster, you know, the harmless and friendly ones. There were some Pokemon, and did you know that the word Pokemon just is short for pocket monster? Yeah. Who? Okay, some people knew, I didn't. As a parent to a 7-year-old, I often find myself like a cultural interpreter of like the youth, and I'm always kind of confused, but I learn more all the time. And there is a particular like monster obsession that my 7-year-old has, and maybe your kids have, if you have kids, have gotten into it. It's the Zombies franchise, the Disney Zombies. Some people are like, yes. Most people are like, no. Well, let me break it down for you because it's actually great. My daughter Olivia has been really obsessed with these this monster franchise called the Zombies films, which is now in their 4th movie. And it tells the story of this idyllic American town in the 50s, which in some recent past experienced a catastrophic event. There was a nuclear power plant in this idyllic town that melted down, and half of the town turned into zombies. The regular citizens who were all working at the power plant unfortunately became zombies. So zombies, yes, those kinds of zombies that have an insatiable appetite for human brains. And so the plot of this film details the plight of the zombies who are exiled in their own town. They are subject to unfair treatment and subpar living conditions. Their work and their education is totally unjust compared to their normal counterparts. And specifically, the movies have focused on the next generations in the town who've created ways to live in harmony with one another. Specifically, they've created a vegetarian version of brains that satisfies the appetite for flesh. And there's also special technology that has been used to help zombies to control their impulses for violence with electromagnetic shocks. However, that technology can be manipulated for bad. And the younger generation just can't remember why their parents and their grandparents created all of this hatred for zombies, because the kids just see other kids, maybe zombies, but they're just like everyone else. And the kids actually refuse to enforce the hate. So the youth long for a community of zombies to have all of the same opportunities as the normals. And of course, a romance is at the center. A popular blonde cheerleader named Addison and a zombie outsider named Zed, who longs to become a football star, fall in love. And through the revelations of Addison's own strange powers, she discovers that she too has a monster within. So, how on earth could this be 4 movies, you ask? Well, the monsters go on appearing in the town. First, they deal with the zombies, and the zombies get integrated into the high school and the community and then become a harmonious and just community. But then there's a new group. There's the aliens. And then the werewolves. And then finally, the vampires. All of these new groups powered by youth. Their parents do not come to the town, but the youth come to the town and each bring with them this history of conflict to be navigated, and the jostling for power and food sources are like a big problem that they have to navigate. They all deal with the same themes. Who is defined as normal and who is the monster? What traumas and prejudices and conflicts from the past continue to haunt the future and the present? And how can the next generations learn from the past to be able to create a different future? Now, I want you to think about your favorite monster. I'm sure you have one. Or a monster that you remember, like from your childhood, from a movie that you've seen recently. I'm gonna ask you to turn to your neighbor and just name who that monster is. Turn to your neighbor. Who is the monster that you can remember? All right, it's a quick one. So call out a monster. Frankenstein,
Mothra, the Hulk, Dracula, Godzilla, the Mummy. Yeah, everyone's got one, right? Everyone's got one. And you can really go in a lot of directions with that question, right? Maybe there's like a lot. You're like, well, this and this and this and this person and this one. I'm not really into horror myself. I just am not. Like I always was really, I can still remember as a kid the horror movies that like I wasn't supposed to see and that like I saw anyway and I can remember it, that really visceral, because it was just the stuff of nightmares, right? It comes back to you. So, I can think of like The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Stranger Things. I just have passively consumed a lot of monsters, not really intending to. Sinners, maybe you saw Sinners, that was amazing. Poor Things, don't recommend, but that is also about a kind of feminist-ish, but not monster film. Don't recommend that one. And The Last of Us. Have you seen The Last of Us? It's an HBO series. It's a zombie movie or zombie series. That one is really, I just can't sleep afterwards, but I can't stop watching it. There's something really gripping about it. So think about that monster that you named. And I want you to think about, our theme this month is compassion. When you think about like a compassionate view on that monster, what is going on in that monster's psyche? What drives the monster to do whatever bad things they do? Get curious about that monster. Who created your monster? Or how was your monster created? And what really drives your monster? So that definition of monster comes from Latin monstrum, which means a warning. A warning. An omen. Monere means to warn. And initially, a monster referred to any unnatural creature or event, and unnatural, that's a whole thing in itself, right? Out of the ordinary creature that the gods sent as a sign of evil or misfortune to kind of warn the people about something. And that Frankenstein, someone brought up Frankenstein's subtitle, and Mary Shelley was pretty remarkable for her time, really young when she wrote that book. And the subtitle is The Modern Prometheus. The Modern Prometheus. And I looked into that story, and boy, it would take an entire hour just to tell it. So I will not. But it's basically, this Roman story about playing God and who gets to play God, and how humans are kind of warned by the gods to stay in line, but also not to act out outside of their humanity, what makes them human. And I found it really fascinating. Did you know that there's an academic study called monster theory? It may be banned, so find out about it now. So it's kind of cultural criticism. And there are 7 theses to monster theory. And Jeffrey Jerome Cohen is a scholar who wrote a book called Monster Theory. And so I just want to share a few of these insights and see if they resonate. Now, like while you're thinking about your monster, think about these insights. First, the monster's body is a cultural body. Monsters are embodiments of a culture's fears at a specific historic moment. The example given in that one is Godzilla. Anxieties about atomic warfare, nuclear warfare, right? Makes sense. The monster is, second one is the monster is the harbinger of a category of crisis. By existing as a hybrid, part human, part animal, or crossing other boundaries, monsters disrupt the neat classifications
that our society creates. And they call into question the very nature of categories themselves because they blur lines between human and not human, or normal and abnormal. 3, the monster dwells at the gates of difference. Monsters are defined as the other, representing the marginalized groups within a society. Their physical or behavioral traits are used to make difference visible, and in doing so reflect anxieties about race, gender, sexuality, ability. Next one is the monster polices the borders of the possible. By creating monsters, a society sets limits on what is acceptable behavior and what isn't. You can't eat brains for lunch. You have to come up with a vegetarian alternative. The fate of the monster serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating the consequences of transgressing norms and rules. Number 5, the fear of the monster is a form of desire. A culture's repulsion and fascination with monsters can be interpreted as a desire for the forbidden. The monster represents a temporary escape from its constraints of society, embodying taboo subjects that society fears and craves. Number 6, the monster always escapes. No matter how many times a monster is defeated, the anxieties it represents return. You can't kill the monster, it keeps going even if you think you've killed it. I mean, that Last of Us is just like, wow, it just keeps going and going. Monsters constantly return in new forms, reflecting the enduring nature of a culture's collective fears. And then finally, and this is the one I want to really think about, the monster stands at the threshold of becoming. While monsters can be destructive, they also hold the potential for transformation. They force a culture to confront its assumptions and misrepresentations, leading to self-knowledge and social change. Now I want you to think about your monster again. Bring back that monster that you were maybe shared with your neighbor. Do these resonate a little bit? Like, are you seeing some parallels, some lines there? So I felt this was so helpful, and I love Jeffrey Cohen's work because he's actually a medievalist. He's deeply embedded in mythologies, and he talks about how every generation thinks it can somehow outsmart the past. That monsters represent what is unresolved, coming back to haunt again and again and again. What the culture thinks it's buried. The subject that we think we've solved that, we don't need to discuss it anymore, or we've prohibited the discussion of it. You know, we will no longer have DEI in the country. Okay, we're just not talking about anything related to race, culture, sexuality, bodies. We're just not going to talk about it anymore, so it's gone. What then comes up after we think we've buried something or something is attempted to be buried? This last idea of the monster as a portal or as a mirror of what we've held up about the insights about what it means to be human right now. That the monster can be a portal that looks to the past, but also can invite us to think about the future and how we imagine the future could be different. Because when you look in that mirror, when you think about your monster and the cruelty, the violence, the evil, the destruction, because there's a whole trail you probably have in your monster story about what that monster has done. You can see that human capacity for tremendous violence. Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster himself. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze right back at you." I think that our danger these days is writing off the monster, of dismissing the monster, of that person, that behavior. That person is just a monster and not a person. Seeing someone as utterly other, so outside of the human capacity that we cease to believe we no longer need to appeal to some sort of moral understanding of what it means to be human and how human beings are to treat one another. I think tuning into that empathy or compassion, that pathos for the monster, what drives the monster, how did the monster become the monster? It invites us to think of the monster as something that's constructed. It's not in fact natural. It is constructed, and we can imagine just as easily deconstructing. And it's tempting to look around and point fingers at all of the dehumanization and somehow normalize it. That's just what monsters do. Take away people's food stamps, hold up the government, destroy buildings, playing God, kidnapping people off the street without due process, controlling speech and suppressing thoughts, robbing people of their rights and dignity, rewriting and erasing history, fixating on a part of the past that if we just forget it, it won't have existed. The truth is that even monsters are created in the cauldron of crisis. And monsters are often misguided, and monsters have no more power than we give them. I was listening to a podcast or a video that Jeffrey Cohen had said, and he said that our reassurance of when we watch these monster films or violent media in some way is that we can always be safe. We know that it is not real. Liv asked me, what's the scariest country in the world? And I said, it's ours. It's ours. Our favorite monster stories are often about what happens when humans have the great courage to cross boundaries, to push past their own fear and violence, and to love monsters. In spite of their capacity for violence, people can see the world from the monster's eyes, disarm the monster, and find their perspective transformed. So I will ask us once again, who is normal? Who's the monster? What traumas, prejudices, and conflicts we've tried to bury in the past continue to haunt the present? And how can the next generations learn from the past to create a better future? What do monsters have to teach us about what it means to be human? Safe and happy Halloween to everyone. So mote it be. Amen.
Ready? 1, 2. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and then suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash.
he did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
He did the mash.
He did the monster mash from a laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast. The ghouls all came from their humble abodes to catch a jolt from my electrode.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
They did the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They did the mash.
They did the monster mash. Zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rockin', all were digging the sound. Igor on chains backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with a vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five.
They played the mash.
They played the monster mash.
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
They played the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
They played the mash.
They played the monster mash. From out of his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. Seems he was puzzled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said,
"Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?"
It's now the mash.
It's now the monster mash.
The monster mash.
And it's a graveyard smash.
It's now the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
It's now the mash.
It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool. Drax a part of the band, and my monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you.
Then you can mash.
Then you can monster mash.
The monster mash.
And to my graveyard smash.
Then you can mash.
It caught on in a flash.
Then you can mash.
Then you can monster mash.
We will extinguish this flame, but not the cauldron of change, which continues to bring transformation and healing to our lives and our world. Go in peace. Have a safe and happy Halloween. And do join us next week for our companion service, the Dia de los Muertos. We invite you to bring your loved ones and ancestors in. Trickster Flame.